The idea kind of came about as a joke. I was trying to develop a script. I wanted to write my own screenplay and write and direct a film. So I had a handful of ideas, and I was, weighing the pros and cons of each, and having a conversation with one of my friends. I said I couldn't decide between a wolf movie and a cop movie, and I jokingly said, should smash them together and see what happens. And we laughed, but the visual of that, of a werewolf in a cop uniform, was actually, it sounds silly to say, but pretty powerful. I was lying in bed thinking about it, being like, what would a werewolf cop do? And the movie was born out of that, just smashing two ideas together.
Is it almost time?
I'm a huge fan of the absurd, and I love a little bit of ultra-violence and ridiculous things happening, and my brain is always kind of veered towards enjoying things that are very ridiculous. So to do a movie like that, and especially, in a way we were a B movie. We had a very tight schedule, we had to shoot very fast, we couldn't be precious with things, so I think we kind of just said, the style and the parameters around this movie are a B movie, so let's embrace it and let's go full, whole hog on this. And I believe it gives it a bit of a charm because, we knew what we were making, we knew what we were, and we just tried to do the best job possible with it.
Listen, you did seem like freakishly strong. You had those claws and those teeth.
One of the hardest things, and I'd say our biggest challenge, was blending humor and horror, because they don't always go together really well. I compare it to like walking a tightrope. You could fall on either side and it could really hurt your movie. And there were times when we were shooting and there were certain scenes where we weren't sure as we were shooting, is this too funny? Is this too scary? So sometimes we do a take on either side and just say, play this really serious or play this really ridiculous. And we'd make the decision in the editing room. But yeah, I think it's a big challenge to walk comedy and horror, but a very exciting one to attempt.
It kind of looks like you.
Ooh, got to stop over at the brewery, do some investigating.
We were very inspired by practical effects for our movie. We love practical effects. A lot of this comes down to the fact that one of my best friends is a practical effects artist named Emerson Ziffel. And before there was even a script, Emerson and I were sitting in coffee shops talking about how is our movie going to be different? How is it going to be practical? How is it going to be real? How is WolfCop going to look? And we both were kind of in a place where we feel like the Wolfman character has been taken for granted a bit. In modern films, it's often CGI. It's often a digital puppy walking around on all fours almost, something that's more adorable than scary, in things like Twilight. So I was romantic for things like the Universal Wolfman, like the Lon Chaney incarnation, and also going more recently, I grew up with Teen Wolf, so I like the idea of a wolf man. That's as much man as wolf. I think practical effects are more challenging on the day you're shooting. In visual effects, you can just say, we'll figure it out later, and that doesn't always work on an independent film because you may not know if you'll get it later, So we kind of needed to depend on practical effects, but the beautiful thing about them is you can depend on them because you see them. They're right in front of your face. You can look away from the camera and it's right in front of you. I could look at WolfCop, I could see how he looks with my own eyes, and he would look good. And yeah, there's challenges with practical effects. Sometimes it doesn't work. There were times when we'd plan an effect like a certain transformation, like his hands ripping off. It just wouldn't work. Things would happen, and you'd need a little more time to figure it out, or to practice and do a couple takes. But the thing is with practical is it's real, so you see it and you've got it. It takes away all the mystery and it's tangible. So I think if you have a good practical effects artist, and we certainly did, it's far more rewarding and real for your film.
What big teeth you have. That's not all.
Being invited to Fantasia feels like redemption for WolfCop, because it's true, while we did have a limited theatrical release in Canada, we never came to Quebec. So I'm so excited to be here, not only to have the Quebec premiere, but to do it in a midnight screening, which is the perfect way to see WolfCop.
Tell him what you told me.
He was a big wolf cop.